I'm Michelle Dunkley and this is blog 12 for the production module. Unfortunately, since the last blog it hasn't been that good within the group really. As I said previously, we set to have the 5th as the day that I finished the edit. When the 5th finally arrived, I asked the rest of the group whether they had time to see the edit because as of this day I was giving it to Kyle, which after speaking to my lecturers means that I couldn't edit it again after this because that would be unfair on Kyle, meaning he had to edit his as I edited mine, making his job much harder. So I asked the group if they had seen it yet because I couldn't edit it anymore. I asked them this around 8:30 in the morning, and then around 12 o'clock that day I was informed that they'd put some more footage on ISIS. So I got this footage and I put that into the edit, and then towards the end of the day around 3 o'clock they then carried on to say that they wanted to carry on filming, which I thought was unfair because I had finally finished and I was happy with what we had, and Kyle was waiting for the edit, so I didn't know what to do. After speaking to my lecturer, he informed me that since I had been told the 5th that it was fine to stop editing and to give it to Kyle. I felt like I was being pulled two ways during this time because I wanted to give it to Kyle so that he could do a good edit, but I also didn't want to upset my group. After looking, I then started a conversation with the group, thoroughly explaining my reasons for why I thought it was best to give it to Kyle, which then I got no reply, which I thought was really unprofessional because I had spoken really professionally in an open manner, wanting people to then have a conversation about it so we could come to the best conclusion, even if this meant waiting a few days to give it to Kyle, or that they'd go filming the day after and then I'd do it during the night. I just wanted to have a conversation with the group, but instead I got nothing. Because of this, I then proceeded to render it out and give it to Kyle because I didn't know what else to do. However, it was clear that the group wasn't happy and that's not what they wanted, but they had been told for a very long time that the 5th was the day that Kyle was going to get it, and Kyle was already starting to panic, waiting for the edit. I think this was the right decision because Kyle finally got the edit finished on the deadline day, so even if we had only waited a few days it wouldn't have been handed in on time. And I think that handing in a product that was finished to the best of our ability is way better than handing in a product that wasn't finished. Sean even said that well, if Kyle wanted the edit then we'd go along without him, meaning that there would be no sound on the finished product, which was really selfish. I thought that so then that way he'd have got all of his job well done but Kyle would have nothing. I didn't think this was working towards a group and this wasn't something that we should even be discussing. So I said that I wasn't willing to do that, leading to one of the reasons I gave it to Kyle on the 5th. I think that since we had decided this and we'd been given this assignment from September and this was now April, I think the group had been given way more time than they needed to get this production finished, and 2 weeks before the deadline was no time to be saying they wanted to carry on filming. We also had other deadlines to do, so everybody was doing them as well. It was kind of saying to me and Kyle that they're going to carry on and make sure they get their grades while me and Kyle didn't get to do anything. I just think this was really a selfish and unprofessional thing to say, which led to me then giving it to Kyle. I'm really not happy that this is the way that the group finally ended because I think we worked together really well throughout the year and I'm really happy with the products that we've created. It was such a shame that it finally had to come down to the last 2 weeks and whether I should give the edit away or not. I feel like a lot of the weight will be put on my shoulders because I'm the one who gave it to Kyle. But saying that, I can't really see another option. If I hadn't have given it to Kyle when the sound wasn't finished, I think my group would have blamed me. And by giving it to Kyle, I think my group blames me for the footage not being finished. But I think that those things aren't really anything to do with me, that it should have been organised to have been filmed a lot earlier than it was. And I think that this is contributed by there being no paperwork, so days that we were filming were wasted, and by adding scenes that didn't need to be filmed, so then they got filmed before the important ones, and just little things like that I think should have been sorted a long time ago would have solved these issues. So altogether, I think throughout the year we worked together really well, but it was only in the last 2 weeks that we had a disagreement. This wasn't any kind of argument, we just disagreed. but I do feel quite bad thinking that the group will put it on, say it was my fault, when I really don't think that this decision was really anything to do with me, and it was already made when they told me that we just weren't going to give any sound to Kyle, because then that was just like saying we're going to completely get rid of one of our group members 2 weeks before the deadline, which just isn't really acceptable. In total, throughout this year, I think I have worked quite hard on this project. I'm really happy with the directing, because now that that's finished, I think that looks really, really good, and I'm really happy, and Meryl will be really happy with it as well. As for the edit, I've spent a long time trying to make it look right and make sense, so I am quite happy with it. When I look at it, I see the decisions that I made as director and editorial decisions, because I didn't have a director looking at it. So I think I see further into it than other people might. Where other people see flaws, I'll see that that's where I solved a problem. So yeah, in total, I think that this year's been quite good, and I'm quite happy with the outcomes that I've achieved.